Good afternoon and welcome to a special Nutmeg Sports here at Trumbull High School, where we are getting set for the HAN Network's coverage of the 2017 Babe Ruth 14 and under New England Regional Tournament. Frank Benito sitting alongside Kevin Coleman as we've got a crack of the bat behind us and a base hit now. Out at second, Kevin, we have got the quarterfinals going on right now as weather postponed play on Monday. So now 4 quarterfinal games being played this morning, 2 semifinal games, which we'll have live this afternoon on the network.
Yeah, we're excited for those 2 semifinal games, and a little bit of disappointment, I think, for all these players and coaches and families that those games got postponed yesterday, but it's Mother Nature. It happens. So I think they adjusted, and I think they've done a terrific job today. You got to give credit to the site directors for all they've done of making sure that these fields were available. So a terrific job by everyone here, making sure everything is running smoothly.
2 quarterfinal games featuring 2 Connecticut teams were played this morning at 10 a.m. Trumbull, Connecticut came away with a win. Unfortunately, Waterford fell 7-3 against Keene, New Hampshire. So it'll be Trumbull and Keene playing at 4 o'clock here at Trumbull High. We'll have that game in its entirety on the HAN Network. Then you've got 2 Massachusetts teams, a Rhode Island team and Augusta, Maine, battling it out for the second semifinal game, which will be played at 7 o'clock. One thing, and we just caught up with Coach Mike Buswell in the bleachers as he's awaiting his semifinal game, Kevin. One thing we have to keep in mind now is the pitch count having a doubleheader played on the same day. Obviously, the rules are very tight, and then you get into a situation where you've got to play 2 games in one day. No coaches were really preparing for that kind of a situation.
They weren't, and that's why I think they're disappointed that the rain had to come in yesterday and delayed for these pitchers, and it's going to be tough. But that's where you start to see where the good teams come out, because that's where you find those guys who come in late innings. Yes, they have their starters already picked out for the most part, and they're keeping track of pitch counts, but it's the guys who are going to pitch in the later part of the games, the infielders, the outfielders, even the guys off the bench who are going to step up and maybe even throw 1 inning or 2 innings. That's all you need at this point. You want to throw the guys who you have the most trust in, and you've gotten to this point already. You just want to get into that championship game. So that's why I think for these 4 teams tonight that you're going to see in those 2 games, they're going to throw everything they've got.
Trumbull will go with their ace Harvey in the rematch against Keene. They did take the first meeting back in pool play. You've got 8 teams in this tournament, 2 pools of 4. Trumbull was the 1 seed out of Pool A. Hingham, Massachusetts, representing the eastern side of the state, playing behind us right now. They were also 3-0 in pool play. They are currently in the lead over Rhode Island here in Pool B. One thing that I've noticed so far, Kevin, this is 14 years old. They're playing on the high school field here. We don't expect to see any home runs in this tournament. That's a lot of pop to ask out of these young men's bats. So the big things for me in the field-wise, that difficult throw from third to first, that's a long ways away. And in the outfield, you've got to be very accurate with your cutoff men. Missing cuts right now is going to allow extra bases, and that's just only going to pour runs in, which at this point in time, they seem to be scarce to come by. I mean, Trumbull only scored 18 in their first 4 games.
Well, you're right. And I think another thing is, how about if you're a catcher? It's going to be very difficult for you to throw out a runner on first base. So if you're any of these teams, you want to get on base as much as you can and try and be aggressive on the base path. Really try and get those steals. And, if you can get those and get runners in scoring position, I think that's going to be absolutely huge. And you're right. That throw from third base and shortstop, it's going to be very difficult. And you're right. It's so crucial to hit your cutoff man. It's coaches preach it every game, even in practice. You have to hit your cutoff man. It's, I think players don't realize how important it really is. So, again, tonight, that's what you're going to see, and you're right. You're not going to see home runs maybe at all. That's why I think if I'm a head coach and I'm, talking to my hitters, little bites. That's all you need. Just little base hits. Get those runners on base. That's all you need in order to be successful here in this tournament.
And now for these 4 teams that will be remaining, you've got to have a lot of confidence, no matter who you are, Kevin, with the defending regional champions from their 13-year-old season eliminated in Waterford. As we just saw Keene making their way in behind the scenes here. They're heading for the batting cages. You talked a little bit about catcher play. This is a big backstop, too. And if a ball gets by you, takes the wrong kind of a bounce, you could be talking about 2 extra bases, especially if there's an errant throw anywhere involved there.
Well, catchers have a lot of pressure in this tournament, I think, and you're right. Not only is the throw from second base very far, and even third base too, you can't let anything go by you, because you're right, it's a deep backstop. And we're going to touch upon that, I'm sure, all throughout the night. And we're going to see it. We've already seen it already so far in this game. And it's going to be, I think there's a lot of added pressure if you're a catcher in this game. You want to be sure you're very strong defensively. You want to be able to, call a great game as well. So it's a lot of pressure on these catchers in this tournament.
There's a lot of pressure on all these players now, especially as we get to the semifinals. The weather appears to be holding off right now. It is overcast, mostly cloudy, very cool out. The humidity from last week has completely broken and passed, so we're staring down right around the high 60s, mid 70s. There is a little breeze blowing out towards left field, so we'll see how much of a factor that will play as we get closer and closer to the semifinals on the HAA Network. Kevin and I are going to step aside quickly. We'll be back with more Nutmeg Sports live from Trumbull High School right after this.
Celebrate summer with fresh made-to-order picnic boxes from Walter Stewart's Market. We have delicious summery selections from buttermilk fried chicken to grilled lemon chicken kebab, grilled shrimp Caesar salad wraps, or lobster salad rolls. Our easy-to-carry picnic boxes come with your choice of a meal, as well as a dessert, beverage, and utensils. Order online for simple pickup options. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and online at stewartsmarket.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
School's out, the weather is hot, and the fish are biting. Whether you're heading to the beach or out on a boat, stop in at the Dock Shop before you go to fill your beach bag or tackle box with everything you'll need for fun in the sun. A new beach cover-up, some sunscreen, or just some bait, the Dock Shop has you covered from either location. 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. And yes, you heard that right. Bait is now available in Darien and Westport. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. DockShop.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now at the Summer Clearance Event. Going on now through July 31st.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month, here on the HAN Network.
Back at Trumbull High School on a special HAN Network presentation of Nutmeg Sports. Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman getting set for our live coverage this afternoon of the semifinals in the Babe Ruth 14U New England Regional Tournament. Kev, right now we've got Hingham, Mass. and RP5 Rhode Island battling it out in the 5th inning. It is a 3-0 Massachusetts lead, a spot in the 7 o'clock semifinal game on the line. On the other side of the bracket, you've got Western Massachusetts, Pittsfield, and Augusta, Maine battling it out there. I mean, we've been talking a little bit throughout the day what we think is going to be most important as you get closer and closer to that championship game. For me, it's the defense in this tournament.
Yeah, I agree. And how nice would it be to see a little Eastern Mass versus a little Western Mass in that semifinal game, and a little bragging rights there in the state of Massachusetts. But a little foul ball coming right at us, right, and a nice catch by Frank Granito. Look at that. Nice catch. But I think defense is so important there, Frank. Welcome back in. Nice catch.
See that? Still got it, man.
Still got it. But I think you're right. And you see right there, defense is so important. You see a nice little scoop from you. But I think at this level, and especially on a field like this, any infielder, you want to make sure you keep that ball in front of you. And even if it's not clean, make sure you keep it in front of you, bounce it out, throw to first base, get that out, throw a second, throw to the force. But if you're an outfielder as well, you got to be able to. It's a big outfield, so if you got, it's a lot of range out there. So you want to be able to track down those fly balls.
And these young men have all had a year experience now on this big field. But we just saw a great example there over at first, Kevin. The infield, while it is in great condition, a lot of these balls have been hit chopped down.
Right.
We're seeing some very difficult hops as it gets off the grass and back onto the dirt. That was actually how Hingham brought across their first run. It was just a tough hop over at first base, got by him, and it allowed the runner into scoring position. So that's something to keep an eye on. We've seen a couple nasty hops, and you're right. If you are an infielder here now, you've got to really focus on staying down, but most importantly, keeping your body in front of the ball. Worst case scenario, knock it down, limit it to one base. Don't allow them to extend it into a double, potentially a triple if you bring throws into play.
Right, and I think another thing you have to throw in is you don't want to take too much time throwing the ball too. You want a quick release. You want to get into the glove, get it in their throwing hand right away. You see sometimes that these players take a little bit of a hesitation. They kind of put it in their glove a couple times and then throw it. You want to grab the ball, pick it up in glove, out of the throwing hand so quickly. Quick release to first base or second base, wherever you're throwing to, so important. But you're right. I think they've done a nice job here by the shortstop and a great smoking hit, but they've done a wonderful job at this field here at Trumbull High School.
5 innings down. It is a 3-0 Hingham lead. They are getting closer and closer to the semifinals. Looking through the tournament bracket so far, Maine and Rhode Island kicked it off back on Friday morning. It was an 11-3 win for Augusta. Then Waterford fell 8-4 to Eastern Mass. Western Mass took down Vermont 13-4. Trumbull a 4-3 win over Keene back on Friday. So that's the rematch we've got set up here in this first semifinal at 4 o'clock. Then Waterford shuts out Vermont 11-0. Eastern Mass took down Western Mass 4-1 in their first meeting, potentially setting up for a second as well. New Hampshire top Rhode Island 6-4. Trumbull's second win 5-4. That one over Maine. Then Eastern Mass beats Vermont. Maine takes down New Hampshire. Waterford beating Western Mass 4-2. And Trumbull the 9-6 victory over Rhode Island. So as we get closer to this game, one thing I really like about Trumbull, and we were just talking about it off the air, Kevin, their ability to play strong defense. They've kept their run differential to +5. They've only surrendered 13 so far this tournament. But they've proven they can win close games. They've been putting themselves in situations where they need to close, and they have done so up to this point in the tournament.
Well, that's why I think this rematch in the semifinal is so intriguing to everyone, because they won 4-3. It was a really tight match, and I think not a lot of people are sleeping on this New Hampshire team. This is a very strong New Hampshire team, I think. You got that middle of the order to look out for. I'm excited to see how they come out and play against this Trumbull team. And you're right, I think Trumbull not only has the advantage, but they have the advantage because they played here before. They know the ins and outs of this field, and they've played here before. They know what it's like, and they know the infield very well. I think the catchers know how to call a great game. So I think but in this game, I think they have to be careful. Yes, they should feel confident they beat New Hampshire. That was a close game, and I think New Hampshire is going to come out and want revenge. Like I said, that middle of the order, look out for. And
that was the message we heard earlier today as well. Keene beat Waterford 7-3 in their quarterfinal matchup. And speaking with the head coach for Waterford, Dave Laffey, it was the middle of the order. Yeah. That was where they got all their pop out of. They weren't hitting the ball all around the ballpark, but the middle of their order was strong, which at this age level, those are the guys that you need to step up and deliver when at the plate. For Trumbull, a 5-3 win over Brattleboro. So I don't think it's anything as impressive, that we haven't seen just yet. But again, consistent defense, and it puts themselves in a good position. And let's not underestimate their hitting. They've done a good job continuing to put runs across at the plate.
And that's why I like this Hingham team, this Hingham Hall team from Eastern Mass. They put the ball in play. They strike out they don't strike out very often. And I think you see them throughout this game. We've watched just a little bit. They do a nice job of just getting little hits, just little line drives. That's what the coaching staff keeps telling them. I keep hearing is just get on base, little hits. That's all they need. And I think that's what you need in order to win a tournament like this.
And both Massachusetts teams have done a very good job of extending innings, of getting as many batters as possible across the plate, and they've put up big runs. So you get into a matchup potentially we could be seeing in the second semifinal, Kevin, 10-9, 11-10. I mean, we could be looking at just a slugfest moving forward later into the day, where I think Keene and Trumbull is a lot low scoring. I could see it being 3-2. Both teams just relying on their defense and trusting their pitchers on the mound.
Trusting their pitchers, they're going to throw out the best that they can. I think, plain and simple, they want to get into that championship game, and I think you're going to see them both throw as many pitchers, their best pitchers, as possible. Even if it's just 3 innings or 1 inning, they want to lock down, win every inning. I think if you're a coach at this level, you hear that a lot. let's win the inning. And I think that's what you're going to see.
And that is a great message. You really just keep it to one inning, one at-bat, one pitch at a time. You want to keep everyone focused in the moment, not get caught looking ahead. For me now, let me ask you this question, and it's obviously as old a question as there is in sports, especially baseball. You're in this situation now. Do you throw your ace here, or do you try to set yourself up to have your number one in the championship?
I throw my ace in the semifinal. We touched upon this during the FCX season, especially during the championship season when we were at Harbor Yard. I throw my ace in the semifinal. You want to get to that game because you don't know what's going to happen in that game. You want to get to there. You just want to say you got there at least. And I think you throw your big guy in the semifinal game. If he throws a gem and you guys get to that championship game, you can that's when you can work in everyone. You could have guys throw 1 inning, 2 innings, 3 innings, work the bullpen in. So I think you got to throw your best guy on the mound during the semifinal game.
We're getting a pitching change out here on the mound right now for Hingham, and that's something else to keep an eye on is the rotation of depth players on the bench. Everyone's got to get in. They've got to get their swing. So where do you bring those guys in? How do you use your bench players or role players in spots to make sure that you're still setting yourself up to be successful? And by this point in time, though, and this is no disrespect to any of the bench players, Kevin, but these teams are here because of their depth. Everyone 1 through 14 is capable of getting up there, getting a hit, making a play in the field, so they can be very reliable to their coaching staff. And there's a lot of trust from top to bottom in the bench.
There is, and that's the reason why they're here. But I think every coach is a little different with their style and where they want their guys to come in. I think you're going to see a lot of them come towards the middle innings. Those first 3 innings or 4 innings, you're going to see their top guys, I think. Then 4th inning, 5th inning, you're going to start seeing a rotation a little bit. That's when you're going to see maybe even a pitching change, guys playing different positions. I say around towards the middle, maybe towards the end, that's where you're going to start seeing pinch hitters, pinch runners, all that.
We are getting closer and closer to semifinal number 1. Keene, New Hampshire, and the hometown Trumbull, Connecticut will play at 4 o'clock. We'll have all of that for you live on the HAN Network. Nutmeg Sports will continue on here live at Trumbull, but first we step aside and hear from some of our sponsors on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now at the summer clearance event. Going on now through July 31st.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Now teeing off, Paul Miller from Miller Nissan in Fairfield.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller. What about my new Sentra?
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
He is never going to retire.
At Pure Barre Ridgefield, our tried and true method can shape every body and fit any schedule. Pure Barre is a total body workout using the ballet bar to perform small isometric movements which burn fat, sculpt muscles, and create long, lean physiques. Sweat away the day and get lost in the music. Pure Barre Ridgefield, located at 86 Danbury Road. Like us on Facebook at Pure Barre Ridgefield.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back at Trumbull High School on a special episode of Nutmeg Sports Live here, getting ready for the HAN Network's coverage of the Babe Ruth 14U New England Regional Tournament. Trumbull, Connecticut and Keene coming up in the first semifinal at 4 o'clock. We are still waiting to decide the second semifinal, which will be played at 7 o'clock later on tonight. Currently, Hingham, Mass, a 3-0 lead heading to the 6th inning, Kevin, over Rhode Island as they get closer and closer. On the other side of the bracket, you got Pittsfield from Western Massachusetts and Augusta, Maine. That game being played at a different location due to the weather yesterday. All quarterfinals game pushed from Monday to Tuesday, so we will have an update on that score shortly, and if we are off the air, we'll tweet out the results and make sure that you know who is coming up at 7 o'clock later on tonight. But we've got players filing in towards the batting cages, towards the bullpen, Kevin, as Keene and Trumbull getting ready for this one. We've both played a little bit of all-star baseball ourselves, made it farther into tournaments than many have. So as you get closer to this moment in time, what's the message from the coaching staff now before this first inning?
I think it's watch the nerves. I think especially at this age, you get so wound up in I'm going to the next round, I'm going to the championship game. You know, I think you have to stay grounded a little bit. You have to realize there's still a job to be done. You still have to take care of business. It's, you know, think of it this way: we're in the 6th inning right now. Hingham has to play great defense here. They can't, you know, have a mind lapse. They can't, you know, start thinking about the next game. They need to focus on this game and this inning alone. Work on each inning. I think they're going to get there. 6
outs away from the semifinals as we do play 7 here. Could potentially be less than that as a long throw there. Good job from the third base side. So one thing that's going to stand out to me is less that first at-bat, that first pitch, but the first moment in time where a pitcher gets into trouble or you've got runners in scoring position, how the defense reacts. Those are the nerves I want to see. And if you do get down, you need to remember that there's plenty of game left. You don't want to see a team get discouraged and just sort of fold up at that first sign of adversity.
Right, and I think it's so important, especially for a pitcher when he gets in a jam. You don't want to see him collapse on the mound. And I think that's where you try and remind your pitcher every inning, you know, how you doing? That's, I think if you're a coach, you want to get there and make sure you get the message right. If you're a catcher too, that's another responsibility, another added pressure for a catcher is to make sure they're on the same page. And you're right, for the fielders too, especially the infielders. When you got runners on scoring position, you want to make sure you know what situation it is, how many outs there are. It's so important at this level because you find at times when they're still trying to develop as baseball players, there's a little bit of a lapse there a little bit. They start to lose their focus, but especially at this level, I think if you've gotten to this point, there's a reason why you're here, and I think it's so important. But again, you might see that today, so just keep a heads up.
It is, and it's being able to convince these young men that, hey, we've done all the right things to get to this point. We're good enough to keep doing them and keep moving forward. And again, Waterford is out. You're talking about the team for this group that won the championship at age 13 last year. They were the 4th place finisher at the World Series, losing that consolation game. So there are high hopes out of this region. New England is a very strong baseball region when it comes to the World Series. So these teams have got to be confident right now. You've got to be feeling good as another inning comes to an end. And now for Rhode Island, time running out here. They've got to get the bats going. These are the situations where you hear it so often, especially at the higher levels. It doesn't have to necessarily be that 3, 4, 5 hitter. You need the 8, the 9 guy. Find a way to get on base, whether it's a swinging bunt, a little bloop single.
Right.
Get it going, get that little bit of momentum, and then the snowball starts to roll, and it just gets bigger and bigger.
Well, that's why if I'm Rhode Island, I can get a runner on base. I'm stealing. You have to be aggressive on base because think about it. We spoke about how this is a big field. For catchers, it's a difficult throw all the way down to second base across the diamond.
That is a long throw.
It's a long throw. So if I'm the head coach and a runner gets on, I'm sending him. You know, what do you have to lose at that point? He gets gunned out, he gets gunned out. But I think you have to be aggressive now. You want to get that runner in scoring position because you're right. What if he gets on second base and you get that little infield hit or maybe third baseman throws over the first baseman's head? That's a run scored. Now you're down 3-1. That's what I'm saying. You want to get those runners on base.
I can't believe I'm going to do this. I will give you one opportunity. Gold Cup, USA going to the final. They've got Jamaica coming up. Good matchup for the U.S.
It's a great matchup.
That's right, it is. Now, I do want to give a big shout out to New Canaan locals. Olivia Homp, recent graduate of Princeton University and New Canaan High School, and Jenny Simpson, who played lacrosse at the University of New Hampshire and New Canaan High School. They both just participated in the World Cup of Lacrosse, playing for Team England, and they won Team England the bronze medal, their first medal since 2005. So wanted to give a shout out to those two girls, a huge accomplishment for them. We're hoping to be joined by Olivia Homp next week after she gets off the world tour, coming off such a high, an incredible year, an incredible tournament. So a great job by both of them. Your final thoughts, Kevin? We're just an hour and a half away now from that first pitch in the semifinals. What are you thinking as we get closer?
I think we're going to see some great baseball, plain and simple. I think you're going to see fundamental baseball. Again, we talk about this is a big field. I want to see how these players adjust, and I think right now, Trumbull, you're right. You know, they're the favorite, but I do like these Massachusetts teams. If, you know, Pittsfield, Western Mass can get in, they can beat Augusta, Maine, who, again, is a great team as well. You also got to look out for New Hampshire. I think they're going to look for revenge against Trumbull.
It will definitely be a very good game between Trumbull and Keene. The second semifinal, follow us on Twitter at Nutmeg Sports or on Snapchat at HAN.network. And we will have you updated on the full schedule. Kevin and I are back at 4. We'll follow it up at 7 as the HAN Network rolls on live this afternoon from Trumbull High for the 2017 Babe Ruth New England Regional Tournament for 14 and underage. See you in a little bit.
See you in a little bit.
Thanks for tuning in to Nutmeg Sports. We'll see you shortly right here on the HAN Network.